Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yeukai Kechidori.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to World Outsourcing Solutions podcast. Today's interview is sponsored by worldoutsourcingsolutions.com, where we specialize in helping business owners with all your outsourcing needs and other business-related topics. And today is a rather different subject we're going to be covering, and the title of our interview today is How to Get Started with Global Database Business. This is a special interview with Suzanne Garber. My name is Yeukai Kechidori, and today, again, I'm talking to the global database business expert, Suzanne Garber, about how to get started and the whole entourage and what you need to know as a business owner when it comes to this. Welcome to the call, Suzanne.
Thank you, Yeukai. I'm delighted to be here.
Incredible. Now, Suzanne is a well-known expert when it comes to global database business and many other business-related issues, and has graciously consented to do this interview and share her extensive knowledge and experience to business owners around today. And again, Susanna, thanks for joining us on this podcast.
Anytime, it's my pleasure.
Awesome. Now, to get us started, Suzanne, you have a very interesting background, in this field. You have an international flavor. Would you tell us a bit about your experience, your education, and how you got to where you are today?
Absolutely. I am very fortunate to have had parents that had a strong love for travel and adventure. My father was in the U.S. military, and when he came out, he was an expatriate working for a large multinational corporation all over the world. And as a child, from the age of 5, I started living, of course, with my parents in various countries such as Algeria, Egypt, Spain, the Dominican Republic, Mexico, even the UK. And I had a very global,
so you've been here.
Very much so. Enjoyed every place. Literally have friends all over the world. And thankfully, I was able to pick up many of the languages. So when it was time for me to attend university, I knew that I wanted to have a career in international business. And I was very fortunate to move to an international company that specialized in international logistics, FedEx, where I spent 14 years, culminating in the role of managing director, South America, which was based in Brazil, another amazing country with amazing people and amazing food.
Incredible.
Absolutely. So I've been very, very fortunate to have traveled all over the world. I'm one country shy of being at 100 countries. So this is my year. I'm going to hit 100 countries this year.
Incredible.
I'm so excited about it too. I'm wondering, 3 years ago, I went to my 50th state in the U.S. and my last state was New Mexico. So now I'm contemplating what will be my 100th country.
Awesome. An exciting journey there for you.
It absolutely is. And like I said, I've been very, very fortunate to have traveled all over the world. I've also had, I would say, even the good misfortune of being sick abroad. And that has actually brought me to gauze in having multiple experiences. I am a 2-time cancer survivor. And I was recently diagnosed with a congenital heart defect when I became ill in the Middle East. And that's really what led to the creation of Gauze, which is the world's largest database of hospitals around the world.
Incredible. And I'm actually looking forward to actually talking more about gas, because I know many of the business owners in our audience today would love to know about that. In fact, that's one of the reasons we have you on the show today, to talk much about that. But before we get into that, let's dive deep in your experience in database collection, because that's what you do most of the time.
Yes. I have to say it's not a sexy job. It's not interesting many times. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of research, quite frankly. And I have a team of researchers, mostly university students, actually, but we do have a small staff as well that spends our days really researching different hospitals around the world. As I might have mentioned that our hospital right now is already the largest database of hospitals, certainly outside of the United States. We actually, for many reasons, do not calculate or culminate hospitals within the United States. That's actually been done many, many times. And we're not really interested in that. We're interested in hospitals outside of the United States. So we source from a number of different sources, actually, as well as contacting hospitals directly, either via telephone, via Skype, via survey, via fax, via even in person. We've been to hundreds of hospitals ourselves. And really what we're all about is the accuracy and the currency of that information. Because when you have accurate and current information, that leads to power. And information absolutely is power. And especially when you might be in a life and death situation outside of your home country, you need to have the most accurate and reliable information possible.
Incredible. Let's set the stage. I can hear, maybe other business owners thinking, okay, how did you get to this point where you wanted to create such an outstanding organization and bringing all this to the community?
Well, I will share that I was chief operating officer of a large medical and security assistance company. And part of that role was to credential hospitals around the world. I was on a trip. It was in January of 2013, so 3 years ago. And I became ill. I couldn't exactly identify what was wrong. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. I was just short of breath. And I knew I was too young to be having a heart attack. I was in relatively good shape. And I was on a 4-week trip that took me to the Middle East. It took me to the Nordic countries. It took me back to the USA. It took me actually to London. And by the time I got home, my primary care doctor had diagnosed me with pneumonia and exhaustion because of all the travel that I do, which seemed plausible. That certainly makes sense why I'm not breathing well. But after 3 or 4 months, I still wasn't breathing well. And then I was having issues chewing and swallowing. And I knew there must be something else that was occurring within me. Long story, or the short story of the long of it, is I was diagnosed with a congenital heart defect that I never knew I had. And since I had been so fortunate to know of great healthcare facilities around the world, I literally had the best of the world's healthcare at my fingertips. Currently on my board of advisors is the former president of the Cleveland Clinic. I have great relationships with the administrative staff at Matilda Hospital in Hong Kong, or Raffles Hospital in Singapore, or the American Hospital of Paris in Paris, or Wellington Hospital in London, for instance. I had the best of the best at my fingertips. And as I was recovering in the hospital from open heart surgery, I realized how many hundreds of millions, if not billions of people do not. And it was a real mind changer and a game changer for me of taking my privilege and being able to help those who don't have that same knowledge and that same access to wonderful healthcare. And that was really the genesis, lying in my hospital bed, recovering from open heart surgery.
Incredible. And I love how you managed to take that situation and it catapulted you really to go out and create an outstanding company, which is going to help, which is actually already helping millions of people as we speak right now. I know for a fact, there are some business owners here that say, okay, it's all good for Suzanne, to have an idea or have that moment, but it's difficult for me. I have an idea, but I don't know how to take the company or my idea to out to the market and establish an outstanding company like you have. What would you say to somebody who is in those shoes?
I would say absolutely, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And this is how great companies are formed. They're formed from either a personal experience or a great idea with great people surrounding them as a team. I look at any of the wonderful companies out there that are in the multi-billions of companies, multi-billion dollars of companies, whether that is an Apple or a Fujitsu or a FedEx or any other company. It all started with the genesis of an idea. And the ideas are either very unique, it's solving a problem, or it's improving upon an existing idea. But at least for me, in my experience, I am not a serial entrepreneur. This is my first time at it. It comes with a lot of passion. It comes with a lot of experience, although I don't think you necessarily have to have a lot of experience. You definitely have to have the passion, and you definitely have to have a great team that surrounds you. And I certainly have all of those three, both from my board of advisors, as well as the staff, as well as all of the universities that support us in this endeavor.
Incredible. Let's talk about you, Suzanne. Knowing that you had you did not have the entrepreneurial background. Other than having the idea and passion, what had to happen in you, or what actually happened in you to actually say, "Look, I'm going for it. I'm going to help people." So that our listeners here will benefit from your experience.
Part of me is very rebellious, and
Right.
I don't like being told no.
We like that. You just sound like every entrepreneur that we talk with here on this program.
It can be a great motivator. It can also be a great stressor when somebody tells you no, that's not possible. For me, it was more than just being told no. It really was an altruistic sense of what I have can literally save lives. It can help billions of people. And I think for that, like, I am a very conscientious person where I don't really care about money. I don't care about nice clothes or fancy cars. I'm not guided by materialism. I am guided by making a difference in people's lives. And that's exactly what I want to be my epitaph. And I think having had cancer twice, having survived a rare, very rare congenital heart defect and undergoing open heart surgery has given me that mindset of I am put on here on this earth for a great purpose. And honestly, to be fair, I do believe that everybody has a great purpose here on this earth, whether that is taking care of a child, or it is starting an orphanage, or it is being a teacher in a school. Whatever that purpose is in your life, everybody has one. And it's so important for each of us to understand what that purpose in our lives is. Like I said, I've been very fortunate to have been raised around the world. I speak a number of languages. I've gone to very prestigious universities. I've had a very wonderful life. It is my obligation to give back to others, to help them enhance and fulfill and possibly even save their lives.
Incredible. We love your passion and the way you're coming across with that. And somebody might be thinking, so you had the idea, Suzanne, and you got out there. What were the major roadblocks you faced before you actually got this idea to the market?
I'm laughing because I think had I truly understood how difficult it was to be an entrepreneur, I might have given up before I even started. It really is a lot of work, and it's so different. I can run a company, and I'm snapping my fingers. Running a company that's already established is so easy. You already have the processes, you have the protocols, you have the policies, you have the people in place. It's really more about leadership and influencing and so forth. But when you are an entrepreneur, you are the jack of all trades. I'm very thankful that I attended law school, so I have a teeny smidgen of understanding of law. I have a teeny smidgen of understanding of a lot of things, but collectively they mean nothing. So I've had to surround myself with amazing people. And that has actually been something that's been very difficult for me, because I am very type A. I like doing things myself, and I like doing things well. And yes. I've noticed that as an entrepreneur, I can't do many things well at all. I've had to outsource so many different aspects, whether that's accounting or it's some legal aspects, or certainly on the database aspect. Many of my friends and family joke with me that I am heading up the world's largest database of international hospitals, because I am technologically challenged. But then I say, who better than me to do it? Because if I do it, I know I'm going to make it dummy-proof. I'm going to make it for somebody like me, for somebody who might not be so technologically oriented. And that's really what I want to do, is create access to healthcare. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
A real difference, in the process as well.
Yes. So, and going back to my statement of, what does it take to make a good entrepreneur? Certainly the passion. I did say experience in there, and that's only really because I have this type of experience. But I also say I don't have the experience on the technological side. So I am actually living proof that you can do anything that you set your mind to, as long as you surround yourself with great people who will help keep you out of great trouble.
Incredible. Talking about having great people around you is, it's very obvious to me that you have some mentors around you. Talk us to us the importance of having mentors around you or other great people around you while you're getting your ideas out there, or while you are in the process of making a company great, like you're already doing.
I am 100% wholeheartedly committed to mentoring those beneath me as well as being mentored by those above me. It's one of the hallmarks actually of my career, and I've been very fortunate to have had people believe in me and invest in me. I have had mentors, I will say, going all the way back to 1999, where I was starting to get into management at FedEx at the time, and I knew that I didn't have all of the answers. I think that's one of the great things too about leaders is having that humility to know what your limitations are and where you want to go, and knowing that you can't get there by yourself. So I've had amazing mentors since 1999 in various aspects, whether I was at FedEx or I was at this assistance company. And even now, I can actually tell you, I have a great story to share with you, because I believe so strongly in mentors that when I became a chief operating officer of a $1 billion organization, I knew that I was being catapulted into an extremely lucrative position that very few females have ascended to. And for me, I was looking for a similar female mentor who had been in that type of a role. And so before I actually started my job, I had reached out to very prominent women who had been in that role, either as a CEO or a COO of some very common household name companies. I sent out about 50 queries, and I heard back from maybe 4 or 5 of them. And I understand they were very busy. They didn't really have time to help me. And quite frankly, they were busy mentoring women in their own organizations. And I was somewhat of an unknown entity. And I understand that. I really do. Women are very busy with both home and work, and so many demands and stressors placed upon us. So the weekend before I was supposed to start my new executive position, I was a little dejected, not having a mentor to go into this role and walk by my side. And I went to the nail salon. I'm actually I'm quite low maintenance. I'm not a very girly girl, but I thought for my first day of work, I need to get my nails done and present a very polished image. And I sat to this older woman, and we got to chatting, and she seemed very kind and teacherly. So I asked her if she was a teacher, and she said no, she was a nurse. And I said, oh, well, that's fantastic. I'd love to ask you some questions, because I'm becoming the chief operating officer of this healthcare company, and I'd really love to understand your point of view from an administrative aspect, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
She ended up handing me her phone number and her email address, and turns out she lived right across the street from me. Long story short, I looked her up on the internet, and I found out she is what we would call in the United States a history maker. She was, or is, the first African-American female CEO of an Ivy League institution, healthcare institution. And
Awesome.
she's so humble, and she's been by my side as a mentor ever since. And of course, I've had many amazing mentors, but I have to point out Dolores Brisbane has been just a guiding light for me, because she has undergone and overcome so many of the situations that I faced as a young female executive. So mentors, I absolutely agree that there is no entrepreneur that can do and be as successful as he or she wants to be without the help of others. It definitely is a team when it comes to success in business.
Incredible. Love to hear you talk about mentors like that. Even in my own experience in building one really of world-class company, World Outsourcing Solutions, where we are providing clients all over the world, in Australia, Canada, the US, and here in the UK. Really, it would not happen without having mentors showing me, oh, you need to avoid that, or you need to take this as a shortcut of doing it. And, you're confirming that. And given status of where you're coming from and how you've built, your company to actually become one of the largest medical database in the world, for our listeners there, I think it's a point to note. Let's talk about your major breakthrough in running this company. When did you have the first major breakthrough?
It seems like every day is a breakthrough, I think, because we are still so young. But I would say, actually, our original intention when we started this company was to help travelers, to help the 1.1 billion travelers who are traveling somewhere around the globe, whether that's Chinese people going to Japan, it's Japanese going to Brazil, it's Bolivians going to Peru, whatever. Our original intent was to really help those individuals find accurate and reliable information so that when they become ill, they will have an accurate and reliable healthcare facility to tend to them. I would say in the October timeframe, actually, so even just 4 or 5 months after we launched, we started getting contacted by organizations that had a need to contact healthcare facilities for reasons other than travelers. So
Right.
our database actually morphed from helping travelers to helping organizations identify hospitals and actually helping those hospitals get access to the proper supplies or services that they need. So whether it's pharmaceutical companies or clinical research organizations or staffing organizations or medical device organizations that are looking to place their products and services in the hospitals around the world, this has actually become a great facilitator for them. And it's really interesting because, like I said, we did not start off that way, but to see the company morph in that way really gave us the impetus and the power and the authority to claim with all certainty that our information is absolutely accurate. We ask for a number of different criteria and information from hospitals, ranging from the specialties that they offer, the number of doctors that they have, the type of equipment that they have as well. And it's really become a very, very powerful database of reliable and accurate information that can help people, not just as travelers, but certainly even for those patients who might be local and endemic to their country.
Incredible. In listening to you, I identify one thing that we often talk about here at, on this show, that, when you start a business, you get to see other opportunities along the way, just like you're mentioning that. I find it fascinating how business develops and how, you get to, like yourself, dominate really and become to be of use and help so many people. Let's take a different turn for a moment. If you were to start all over again, Suzanne, what would you do different in running your company or bringing your company to the market?
That's a great question. I am a big fan of the saying, everything that you have done has led you to where you are right now. So if I had done anything different, I would not be where I am right now. So I don't think I would do anything different, including some of the many mistakes that I've made along the way.
Right.
I go back to surrounding yourself with the best possible people, because that's really going to help hinder some of those mistakes that might have popped up along the way, and finding those mentors to help you point out, oh, well, this is what happened to me when I did this. I can't say that I would do anything differently per se, because again, I believe I have surrounded myself with the very best people, whether that is Chris Miles from Miles Technologies, who has built our database and built our website. We work with Charlie Bernier, who is the CEO of ECBM, the US's third largest risk management company. We have the Honorable Judge Renee Cardwell Hughes on our board of advisors as well. She's the CEO for the Red Cross of Southeastern Pennsylvania. And we have a wonderful partnership with the Red Cross as well. All of these people that have come into our lives and come into this organization to help us and guide us have really prevented, I think, a lot of the mistakes that other entrepreneurs make.
Right.
One thing I certainly would point out, and this is something that maybe I wasn't fully aware of, is how expensive everything is. Having appropriate funds and forecasting out 5 to even 10 years out, even though it's not practical, meaning that the likelihood of your plan going exactly as you say it's going to 10 years from now is almost nil. But having the financial wherewithal for 10 years out is certainly going to help bypass some of those maybe hiccups in the road that you might encounter. So I would certainly say finances and tending more to the finances on a very long-term strategy, not just a 3-year. I mean, everybody does a 1-year and a 3-year and maybe a 5-year, but I would say, even go farther and do a 10-year.
Incredible. I cannot fail to see, how well you've done in putting the teams together of, to support you. The question is, how do you find these people? I think, new startups, they want to have a great team, and oftentimes they don't know where to look. How did you go about doing that?
Networking starts early and it starts often. If I can give a shameless plug, I actually wrote a book on networking last year called Safety Network, A Tale of 10 Truths of Executive Networking. And it's all about networking and how many things, not everything, but many things come into your life through networking. I was very fortunate to have grasped this at a somewhat early age. I would say in my 30s, it probably would have been much better in my 20s. I think the younger generation today is very, very well connected, certainly on social media and on social platforms. And it really is all about those relationships. So I've been very fortunate, and part of it certainly is personality, but certainly some of it is too. I have to work at it to keep in touch with different people. I'm very curious about human nature and about people. I think part of it is because of my upbringing and having been brought up in different cultures and different countries, and having grown up in Africa and parts of Latin America, I was the one that looked different. So for me, it was always asking people the questions and understanding them and getting to know them. And networking is not just meeting somebody at a cocktail party and handing them a business card. It's really fostering a relationship that is a give and a take. It's the same as mentoring, actually, because many people wrongly assume that mentoring is just, well, I have a mentor and therefore she gives to me. That's not the case. The mentor needs to gain something from the mentee as well. Just like in a networking relationship, that person needs to gain something from you. I always tell people, and I mentor a lot of university students right now, to start networking early and to be sincere and genuine about it. I also speak at a lot of conferences and association meetings around the world. And I'm very keen to follow up with people, not because I want something from them, but because I'm genuinely interested in them. And those are the best types of relationships, are those where it is a give and a take. How can I help you? And I'll even make the plea to you. How can I help you? Even after this interview, you've been so helpful to me. How can I help you? And I genuinely mean that. And I actually will follow up. So to answer the question on where can I find great people, they're all around you. And I would actually say be very clear in what you are looking for in terms of a job description. I know for myself, I look for 3 things in my employees. They must have some type of international experience or acumen. They must be technologically literate, much more so than myself. I love that. And they must have great time management, honestly, because we are a virtual company. Our employees and our students are all over the world, and they must have great time management. I am not going to micromanage you. I'm not going to sit down and say, hey, I looked in the database and you only performed X number of validations this week. I'm not a micromanager. I trust people, but I will certainly validate and scout for that when we have our initial conversations. So great people are all around you, but you must be very clear in what it is that you're looking for, because if you are not clear, your employees won't be clear on what their mission is either.
Suzanne, this is amazing. Would you kindly tell us again that book you wrote so that our listeners will be able to access that as well?
Yes, it is
called... where they can find it.
Yes, it is called Safety Network, A Tale of 10 Truths of Executive Networking. You can find it on Amazon. You can also find it at www.safetynetworkbook.com.
Incredible. Thanks again for that. Just as we're coming toward the end of our time together, where do you think business owners need to focus their efforts if they want to succeed in both long-term and short-term, just like you have done, with your company?
I look at business as a 3-tiered approach, and I have to give credit where credit is due. I was formed professionally at FedEx. FedEx is an amazing company, and FedEx had an amazing philosophy called people, service, profit. I've actually changed it a bit, and actually I'll go back. FedEx basically talks about how if you invest in your people, they will provide the service that turns around profit for the company so that you can reinvest into the people. I've changed that a bit for myself, and I call it PQR. And it's people, quality, and results. first, if you focus on the people, and I go back to what I said about finding the right people, because everything starts with the hiring and finding the right people. I have to mention as well, because I think it's somewhat funny, but it's so true. We have a no jerk policy. So you could have the international acumen, you could have the technological fluency, you could have the time management, but if you're a jerk, we're not going to hire you.
I'm interested. How do you, Suzanne? How do you actually identify who?
It's one of those things you really write down, but you know it when you see it.
You feel it. Okay.
Exactly. I think sometimes it's people who come in with an entitled attitude that they're owed something. Then if they think they're owed something, then they're not owed this job. Sorry. But we have a very fun environment. We all get along anyway, but invest in the people first. And it all starts with that hiring and being very clear on what it is that you're looking for in the hiring process. And also when you are clear with what kind of people you want, be very clear with what you want them to do. I don't think anybody comes to work every day thinking, gosh, I'd really like to do poorly today. I think everybody comes into the office really wanting to do a good job. They want to make a difference. It's not, I've read surveys where between 60 and 70% of people around the world are dissatisfied with their jobs. Why? It's not necessarily the money. It might be how the boss treats them. It might be how the coworkers react to them. I don't know. But if you work with the people first, put people first. That's the first thing. Because the people, again, when you give them the right tools, the right resources, they'll deliver the quality. And that's the Q part. So PQR, they'll deliver the quality that you need, whether it is a service organization or it's a product organization, whether you're manufacturing something or you're delivering an actual service. The quality is so important because that's what's going to keep your customers coming back to you. It's going to be the quality in service that your employees deliver, and it's the quality in product that your employees deliver. And when you have those two in place, automatically the results that you want, your financial results, will follow. And that I have seen and I have employed throughout my career has been the guiding success for me and for my organizations.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's talk about your company for a moment. I think I could go on, listen to what you're saying, and I'm sure our business owners in our audience are having a great time and taking a lot of notes in our time together. Let's talk about your business. How can you serve our business owners who are listening, and where can people find you?
Great. We are certainly online. Our website is www.gauze.net, and that is spelled GAUZE.net. And we're also on a variety of social media platforms. And I certainly invite everyone to check out, I'm very proud of this actually, our reviews on Glassdoor. For those who don't know, Glassdoor is an online community of employees and employers where employees are able to rate their employers. And so if your company is on there and maybe you're not aware, it's interesting to see what your employees say about you. And I'm delighted by the reviews that we've had from our employees regarding the working environment at Gauze.
Incredible. And any final thoughts to the budding entrepreneurs that are listening here today?
Absolutely. I certainly would love to share with people that if you have a passion for something, that if you have an idea for something, do not let anybody tell you, no, you cannot do it, because you can do whatever you put your mind to. And particularly for these services that are so needed for millions, if not billions of people around the world, anything that is going to make humankind better or safer, then go for it, because the world needs you. The world is expecting you, and the world is cheering you on. You can do it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Suzanne, for a great interview. And I'm sure all our business owners in our audience learned a great during our time here today. And once again, can you mention your website where people can find you, Suzanne?
Absolutely. It's www.gauze.net, and that is spelled GAUZE.
Incredible. Thanks again, Suzanne, for being with us and, sharing your expertise with us. So once again, thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm Yeukai Kajidori, and I hope to talk with you again in our next episode. And I would like to invite you to check out our website where you can find, a team of people to help you with your business when it comes to outsourcing. And our website is www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. And thanks again, Suzanne, for being with us, and talk to you very soon. We wish you all the success in what you're doing and, in every endeavor that you have in front of Incredible. Thanks again for being here with us, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.